Hollow Torment, Vow of Sorrow. Prologue. A single heartbeat echoes throughout an endless mass of darkness, bound by ethereal silver chains covered in ancient runes. What follows is a thunderclap. The sky contorts and twists by an unnatural force. First, a deathly calm that lasts only a moment before a storm forms. Dark gray clouds stretching out like shadowy arms blocking out the setting sun on the horizon. In the eye of the storm there stands a single figure. His visage is like that of death, a lethal white skull like that of a wrathful ancestral spirit, with red, gleaming demonic eyes shimmering behind its hollow sockets. A dark cloak drapes across him, obscuring his physique and any potential weapons he may carry. The storm seems to follow him. Each step embodies a natural disaster. This is not a man. It was an entirely different entity that could be described only as a force of nature incarnate. It sets forward one commanding step at a time as the storm brews further, its intensity growing in magnitude. Everything caught in its tempest is torn to shreds and sent to oblivion. It blocks out the very heavens, so any soul caught up in it can't even receive the sweet relief of death. The only fate that befalls them is to be consumed by the storm. The storm approaches an isolated village engulfed by an ancient forest. The moonlight is consumed by the quickly approaching tempest, swirling in a vast miasma of death. In a house near the outskirts of that village, a lone mother with long, flowing black hair, a warm and gentle face with shimmering emerald green eyes, and her boy of about 12 with her same black hair and piercing green eyes that complemented his sharp features along with his lean physique, are living as usual, completely unaware of the entity that nears all too close. The mother chased the boy around the house. "Come, Esterosa, it's time for bed." The boy laughed. "Come on, Mom, I'm 11. Now I should be able to stay up." She caught up to him and caught him in her warm embrace. "I got you now," she smiled, playfully as she tickled him. He laughed and yelled for her to stop. "You're such a grown-up, why don't you help me with the dishes?" "No, never!" "Then I'll never stop tickling you." "Fine, I'll help." "Oh, really?" Yes, now please, Mom, stop. I can't take it anymore." "Okay, pinky promise?" She crouched down at eye level and extended her hand with a gentle smile. The boy complied. "But first, a game of hide and seek. We haven't done that in a while." I said I'd help, I never said when. "Ooh, crafty, aren't you?" "Well, okay, we can play. But last time I checked, adults didn't play hide and seek." "Okay, I'll count down from 100. She closed her eyes as she stood. Esterosa slowly sneaked away, trying not to make the floorboards creak. He looked around for a spot. He'd never won. All of the cabinets were elevated, and the doors rose by a few inches, so your feet were exposed. That's how she always found him. There was one different cabinet, however. This one was lower than the floor and sunk about half a foot into the ground. The doors were just at floor level, so when it was opened, it loudly scraped across the floor, giving it away. It made for a terrible hiding spot. Although today was different. He smelled something in the air earlier, and now the thunderstorm has reached him. The blowing wind and the thunder made it so any sound was drowned out. He'd finally win and prove himself. The thunderstorm may have come out of nowhere, but he welcomed it. It was his lucky day, he thought. Oh, how naive the boy was. He hid and the sounds were drowned out. It was cramped and dark in there, but he could fit, if only barely. He had to brush away cobwebs and his lungs filled with dust, but he didn't care. Today he'd win. 3, 2, 1. Ready or not, here I come. Esterosa peered through the cracks and saw his mother pacing around, checking all the cabinets, rooms, and under furniture, knocking on the walls, putting her ears against it. Then she walked toward the kitchen where he hid. Then she crouched down in front of me. "Found you. Now you have to help me with the dishes like you promised." She smiled as she opened the cabinet door. "Good try, though, but I have a very sensitive sense of smell. I could tell where you were. She tapped her nose as she stood. Esther began to crawl out, but then paused and saw an expression he never witnessed on her face before. Fear. Mom, are you okay? Something isn't right. An overwhelming gut feeling came over her. Her survival instincts were on fire. Every fiber in her being told her to run and never turn back, but she looked down at her only son. I can't do that. I have something to protect. Something is wrong, though. This storm isn't natural. How could I have not noticed before now? It's just like that day so long ago. Esterosa, get back in there and hide. Don't come out until I tell you. Promise me. The boy saw how serious his mother's face was. She was never like this. He could feel something was very, very wrong. He nodded. I promise. Deep in the night, the moon begins to barely break for the tempest, with an ethereal silver glow, only for it to be consumed out of view. The cloaked figure takes in its surroundings upon a hill. It peers down the small village below, the powerful winds brushing against the houses, creating intense, horrific screeching sounds. It reminds the figure of the tormented souls calling out to the living. The downpour flooded the dirt and gravel streets, creating a murky, filthy mess as the cloaked figure makes its way down the hill toward the gorge. An arc of lightning menacingly strikes behind the cloaked being. A thunderclap like that of a demonic roar follows. It chuckles at the sound, walking down toward the village. The mysterious entity unsheathes its sword as it enters. All the lights in the houses go out, but one at the outskirts. Blood starts pooling from the doorways of the darkened houses and onto the stone path, merging into the mud and gravel, tinging the ground red before disappearing into a sloshing mass of mud. As it approaches the final house, it notices a cross on the doorway. A figure slashes its sword, slicing the door in half as the lights go out. Then with a snap of its finger, a dim blue flame reignites the candles. It sees a woman frantically shoving a cabinet closed. She desperately pulls out a knife, trembling in trepidation. She recklessly lunges at the figure and attempts to stab it with a knife. The figure sidesteps the woman's attack effortlessly and grabs her by the back of her skull, tossing her back into the kitchen. It closes the distance between them and mercilessly plunges its sword into her heart, blood spreading like a crimson canvas all over the room, her chest opening up like a vivid red rose in bloom, as her innards become outwards and litter the floor in this dreadful art piece. In the cabinet, a small child looks on in terror, doing everything in his power to hold back his scream. Tears slide down his face, watches in terror through the cracked opening of the cabinet. Blood seeps in, making its way in. The puddle of blood expands and reaches his feet. He resists an overwhelming urge to gag. He's in utter shock. Pure terror courses through his veins. This very terror intensifies as the figure crouches down and turns its face toward the cabinet, red eyes gleaming. Its intense, menacing stare pierces through the boy's soul. He knows he's in there. The boy is frozen for what feels like an eternity, but in reality could only have been seconds. The figure then looks away, stands up, takes the sword out of a woman's chest, and sheathes it. As it leaves the house, lightning strikes above, creating a thunderous boom. There's intense shaking and rattling as all the windows explode in a thunderous crescendo, sending shattered glass everywhere. The shards, seemingly glittering in the crimson canvas they now reside, dimly lit from the now fading demonic flames. The boy sits in silence for hours in pure shock, his emotions raw and unsettled, as he looks at his mother's drained corpse, the brave woman who sacrificed her life to save him, now still her dead, glassy eyes looking towards him, forever engraved into his retina. Something snaps and boils inside of him, as his fear turns into that pure rage, hatred. He vows to take vengeance on his mother's killer with every ounce of his being, no matter the cost, even if I have to become the devil himself. He climbs out of the cabin, from there runs out into the house, into the forest. He does not know why he does this. His body simply compels him to do so. He runs far into the forest, his face covered in either tears or rain. He can't tell the difference anymore.